Hey, this is Kat from Red Mountain Shaman, and I share shamanic wisdom through dreams, visions, nature, synchronicities, intuition, channeling, art, music, photography, and shamanic journeys. Welcome back to my channel, y'all. So the Sound of Freedom is getting a lot of controversial feedback on both sides. So I'm being really called to share what I got intuitively while I was watching this film. And there's a lot of things in the news that I don't weigh in on, but for some reason, this topic I feel like personally connected to somehow. So during the movie, I got the message that angels were protecting this whole operation. And then this is kind of seems insignificant, but to me it was significant, and I noticed in the film, and I don't think anybody even meant to do this in the movie, I think it was just something that happened. There was a black cat following Tim Ballard in this movie, and I have just gotten over a huge experience with several black cats that I'm going to probably be sharing with you guys when I feel ready, when that story has played out. And then I saw that there was a lion superimposed over Tim Ballard. I saw this in my mind's eye while I was watching the movie. And then I was told that this film would inspire more people to get involved in this cause. And I also got the message that Tim might be instrumental in the future in exposing further things that are even going to be more explosive about this situation in the future, and possibly even within the religion he belongs to. And I grew up in the same religion that Tim Ballard grew up in. And this movie, I feel, is just the beginning, and it's just scratching the surface of the massive scope and scale that this horrific situation is kind of reaching. So I wanted to ask Yeshua about these things and see what he had to say about what I saw during the film, and if he has anything extra he wanted to add. So this is what he said. I come that humanity might have joy. Joy is something that has been difficult to experience on this planet for many people, but soon this will be changing. The forces of darkness have played out their role, and the time has come for them to be clamped down, just as they have clamped down on humanity's freedoms. Slavery has reared its ugly head in many forms upon Mother Earth. Some forms are worse than others, but any form is not in alignment with the sovereignty of Mother, Father, God. The Great Spirit of God takes no pleasure in any form of slavery. When you see this film, you are appalled. You shed tears. You want justice, but often forget to have righteous anger for your own enslavement. Think about areas in your own life in which you are not sovereign and free. Any enslavement is in actuality separation from the divine. What this film will ultimately accomplish is an awakening to how humanity has been enslaved on many levels, and this will go beyond the enslavement of the innocent. Many layers of those who work in darkness for their own gain will be exposed. No rock shall be unturned. This is just the beginning of what I call an undercover sting operation. This sting is yet another level beneath the surface of what you are now seeing in public domain. There is a double undercover warrior at play here. Make no mistake, my lions are working diligently to free the slaves and to expose the captors. Sometimes a lion must work in the cover of the grass before it pounces upon its prey. As this operation is still in the works, I cannot explain all in detail. But I can tell you that the Great Spirit knows and sees all. It is a time of reckoning. It is a time of revelation. It is a time of clarity. If all seems muddy at this time, Know that the light is working to clear the waters in order to give all of humanity a clear view of what has been transpiring in darkness. This sting has been slow and methodical. If there has been confusion, it is to confuse both the seeker and the perpetrator. Go within. Rest and continue to seek anyway. Allow for your own intuition to develop. What do you feel? What do you see? What do you experience? Learn how to tap into the quantum field of wisdom. Come unto me as you have today. I am the way, the truth, and the light. Through your own connection to higher realms and ascended beings, wisdom can be gained. You yourself develop at a soul level. When you only trust in the information swirling around you, the muscles that work to gain true wisdom from the Great Spirit and the quantum field can atrophy. When you work your intuitive muscles through meditation, prayer, energy and body work, breath work, ceremony, intentions, and grounding in nature, they do become stronger. Pay attention to your visions, dreams, synchronicities, and the subtle ways Spirit is speaking to you. It is okay to question everything, but it is also important to build the strength of your intuition and learn to trust it. Spirit is always looking for ways to communicate with you, but are you looking for ways to communicate with Spirit? Are you paying attention when Spirit is speaking, or are you brushing it off as coincidence or mere imagination? For now, I ask you to be patient and watch as the great universe reveals what has been hidden. Watch as the portion of humanity who is working on purification is led to what I call a new dawn. You are a bringer of the dawn. The light is just coming up over the horizon now. Soon the sun will be shining in full glory as humanity redevelops its relationship with the source of all that is. I am Yeshua, Lion of Judah. Thank you, Yeshua. So he mentions one of many references my spirit team has made to the book, The Bringers of the Dawn. So if you feel drawn to this book as a light worker, I highly recommend it. You can also listen to it for free on YouTube. Yeshua also asks us to pay attention to our inner voice and what Spirit is showing us. I did draw 2 cards about Tim Ballard. One card was entitled, Become the Hunter, Not the Hunted. And I noticed this is in alignment with a post that the 17th letter of the alphabet said about Tim Ballard, and the hunter becoming the hunted. I don't follow this letter, so let me know in the comments if you have any insights on that. The other card was entitled, What Do You Feel? Yeshua asks the same thing in this channeling, and I think he's just asking us to go within and feel our own feelings about what is happening in the world, rather than just relying on outside sources. He also mentions that our intuition can atrophy, and Greg Braden has talked about this, and one of his videos popped up after I did this channeling about how if we don't exercise our own human abilities, they will atrophy. And this is part of what AI is kind of doing, and things like the internet, and when we become so reliant on these other outside technology and sources of information, then our own intuition and our own true divine abilities start to atrophy. So be aware of that. And then both of these cards were from the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck. And another thing that came to mind is that Utah government authorities were being investigated, and they are also investigating Ballard, so this is kind of interesting. So it was reported in Newsweek that China is influencing the politics through the Mormon Church. And I mentioned Tim Ballard is Mormon. I also found a video in which Tim Ballard was also working with President Trump. So could it be possible that there was people who contributed funds to this film that were actually forced to capitulate? Because mainstream media is sure trying to slander it as well. including none other than a Rothschild on CNN. Also keep in mind that Ballard actually worked for Homeland Security before he went rogue, so he might know things, and that was maybe possibly part of, the information that he had before he went rogue. And then if you've seen the film Whistleblower, you know that these massive entities like the U.S. government and the UN and NATO are all extremely corrupt and involved in this situation themselves. In this case, it might just take one to know one, or in other words, sometimes you may need to pretend to be part of a corrupt organization in order to expose it. I don't really claim to know what's going on here, but one thing I do know is that the light cannot be stopped. We've already rounded the curve on the wheel of the samsara, and we are heading into a new cycle on Earth. I don't have all the answers. We all just have pieces to the puzzle. Feel free to share your piece of the puzzle if you have one in the comments, and like and subscribe if you want to follow and support this channel. Until next week, remain free.